As the clock strikes 7, the fights are alive. Inner circles here, where voices thrive. Turn on your screens, let the magic unfold. Listening and healing as stories are told. Come on, come on, this is your time. No topics too tough, just heed the call. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. Inner Circle podcast where hearts unite. Sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. With laughter and love, we break down the walls. No topics too tough, just heed the call. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. So join the conversation, let's set the tone.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Inner Circle podcast. Today is Tuesday, November 11th, Veterans Day. And tonight we are honoring all who serve. We are paying a special tribute to all those that are serving, also that serve. So it's a community tribute tonight on the Inner Circle podcast. I'm your host, Abe Kamara. I'm here with my man, Peterson, from the cold, windy city of Chicago that got how many, I don't know, 12 inches or whatever of snow this weekend. It's the Midwest. So welcome, my man.
Hey, good evening, Abe, and it's good to see you. Yeah, happy Veterans Day to all of our men and women in uniform that are serving. Yeah, this is Peterson from Chicago, or outside of Chicago, officially now, as I like to claim. But yeah, we got our first batch of snow for the winter, even though we are in fall. But around this time, usually it snows here in Chicago, but it's just been really cold. I'm more north, so we didn't get that much on the weekend.
Okay.
But I heard that south of the city or like central Illinois, they got over 12 inches of snow. So,
Wow.
yeah, we're not even in winter. Winter itself is more than a month away, and we already got to deal with that. But, yep.
Okay. Definitely right. I mean, this time of the year, as you said, I mean, Midwest, Midwest, folks be it's a snow season, and it is expected as winter is not official until December 20th or 21st, whatever it is. But this time of the year is obviously expected. So it's not strange. But hope folks in Chicago, or Illinois, dealing with that. And also, man, before we get started, we know like the government shutdown is still going on, flights are getting disrupted, and all kinds of things are happening and things like that. So we pray that politicians get their act together, man, because they don't want to mess with flying, right? Because now the airport has become chaotic. People are canceling their flights and things like that. Hopefully, man, these politicians can get their act together so they can reopen the government so folks can fly freely, go to their family members and do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And folks, man, if you want to join the conversation tonight, if you're a veteran, honoring first is Veterans Day. If you're a veteran, you can join the conversation by putting a comment in the chat or calling our number 952-594-5154. Also, there's an Inner Cycle podcast. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then follow us on X, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Well, Peterson, man. Today's Veterans Day. It's like, one of the things I love about this country, right? Military service. Folks, willingly, it is not a draft, that they have to force you, right? It's like you have to willingly, enlist into the military. It's a volunteer service, so you have a lot of great men and women that have volunteered their time to serve this country, and some of them have been through, whether you talk about the Vietnam War, the Iraq War, Afghanistan, and there are folks still serving today. I mean, what's your thought? About what does military service like means to you? Especially like for immigrant, when a lot of us come here, the first thing, oh yeah, I want to join the military. I want to join the military. Right? So what does military service means to you, bro?
Yeah, I mean, you rightly said it. This country to have all volunteer force going back for decades, that they are always fully um, like staffed, basically.
Mhm.
Although sometimes they will say, "Oh, recruitment is going up because they need a few more people," but to have the power in this country that is all attributed to just volunteers is a great testament to how things run here. And to your point, when a lot of immigrants come here, it doesn't matter from where. That's the first thing on a lot of people's minds, especially if they are like of age, to enlist right away. Some people want to, because I mean, there's nothing that says like power like what we see in movies, especially coming from like Africa. When you watch these war movies and things like that, and you see the a soldier or a service man, when you get, you like, man, I just want to be like that, because all we think about is like, man, how bad are these people? They must be like the strongest people in the world, and they must be really bad if one person can take down like how many people and things like that. That's what I want to dream to become. And a lot of people come with that aspiration to either go into the service, and we do have a lot of immigrants that are serving, and so kudos to them, those who made that decision, the ultimate decision to go into the military. But it's a great testimony to say that it's all volunteer, because I've interacted with a lot of people from diverse backgrounds or from other countries. I think just 3 weeks ago or so, I was in a conference at my work, and there was a gentleman. Uh, uh, I told him that I'm from Africa, and he said he was born in Angola,
Okay.
and
Mhm.
but he's from Belgium.
Okay.
But his parents, they were running like some. Well, I think they were part of some military group,
Mhm.
but he was born in Angola, and then he said he's an American citizen, but there's a reason he never stepped foot in his country as an adult, because upon returning, he would have been required to serve. I think it's like 2 years or something like that, which
Okay.
is a requirement for a lot of countries that young men, once you turn, I think either 18 or 21, you
Yeah.
have to serve like 2 years into the army or the military, and
Yeah.
you have to fulfill your duties. So a lot of people, they will either try to run from that, but then here in the States, they will still volunteer to join the military because it's not something that they are forced to. So
Yeah. Definitely, definitely. And then, I mean, and to your point, where we want to kind of wish all veterans, and those that are serving, and those that have served, happy Veterans Day. So, Mary, I want to wish your son happy Veterans Day.
yeah.
He served for what, 18 years now? 18 years.
Wow.
That's, what I mean, that's kudos to him, man. So he's
Yep.
been, and now he's deployed in Japan. That's one of the moments where the sacrifices. Most of those that are serving, they are not. They are away from families. They are away from loved ones. On this Veterans Day, it is important that no matter where you're from, no matter your background, so then we are all in this country. I know, as I've said it many times on this platform, it seems like sometimes there's so much division, there's so much that divide us, right? But there's one movement that we should all come together and actually honor those, right?
Right.
Say thanks to those that are serving, and we'll definitely want to say, a big thank you to your son for 18 years of service to this country, right? It's like, for a volunteer, for someone who is giving up his life, he's sacrificing a lot away from his family, sacrificing for some of us that have not, that have not gone that route or never went that route and things like that. So it means a lot. So kudos to him, man, and congratulations to him. So we just want to honor him, want to thank him for his service.
Yep. Happy Veterans Day to your son, Mary Teresa, and to everybody who's serving, to his colleagues and fellow servicemen and women. I want to say Happy Veterans Day and
Yeah,
thank you.
definitely, definitely right. He's a Marine, so that means a lot. And then he's in Japan there, so hopefully he's eating some, good Japanese food, experience. That's one of the things, right? These military folks, man, they travel the world. That's one of the things to
Yes.
do. Really, really travel the world, right? They see
Yep.
different parts of the world, and things like that. So, again, man, happy Veterans Day to all service members. All those that have served, and also that continue to serve. One of the things though, right, like on this Veterans Day, right, thing too. One of the things you notice, there's so many people. Do you think that, like, I don't think a lot of us understand the sacrifices these people go through, right? Someone that have mentioned combat. And
Mhm.
sometimes I think we discussed homelessness on this platform before, right? On this show before that. Most of those you see homeless are veterans. Are we really appreciative of those that have served this country, or those that are sacrificing, like, to give up their life just so we can have the freedom we have in this great country? Do you think we really appreciate it enough? Because when I travel, man, I said, like, most of these street corners, right, is that when it's like it's veteran, and sometimes it's not even a fault of their own, because PTSD, some, just because they've been through some tough situations.
Yeah, to answer your question just bluntly, we dropped the ball. Like we dropped the ball as a country, as a society. It shouldn't just be on November 11th that we honor these men and women who are out there defending us with their lives. But it seems like that's when we honor them, and then everybody's in the spotlight only on this day, and then the whole year they are like forgotten because, like you said, we drive by them, we walk by them, we see them everywhere that we go, and uh, for them volunteering, they're giving themselves basically their whole life and the sacrifices that they have to make to be away from families and to be a military family member. Even the kids, the spouse, partners, other people, they have to go through this hardship of moving from place to place because, like you said, they travel a lot, so they are not just stationed at one location. So we should do way more than what we do for them.
Yeah, and definitely. And just some stats, regarding, the number of veterans. I think as of today it's about 16.2 or 16.3 million veterans, those that have actually served. And then the other thing I got from that stats, those, man, is like, the most of those that are veterans today, they are aging almost, you know what I mean? It's like you hardly find a veteran who's below the age of 35 or so, right? Most of those that are veterans today, right, they are kind of aging. Do you think? I don't think we are doing enough. Like, I know it's all a voluntary force, but do you think folks are really excited about going into the military? Maybe like back in the days, I mean, we hear about the history of World War I, World War II, where, in, like, younger folks sometimes from high school, they just want to go to the military. I know, for us immigrants, right, as you mentioned earlier, when we come here, the first thing we want to do, right, most of us, no doubt, even kids that are born here to immigrant parents, one of the things they want to do, they want to go to the military. Well, that's one of the things they want to do here. Instead of going to college, they want to go to the military. But the fact that we have an aging veterans population, do you think military service means the same as what it means today? Do you think it means the same that what it meant back then?
No, it doesn't, because to your point, people used to be very eager to get into the military. Like right before graduation, a lot of recruiters used to come to high schools back
Hmm.
in, like even up until the 2000s, where they would come to high schools and try to recruit. Like, hey, if you don't have any plan after graduation, this is one route you can go. And people used to sign up in droves, but then. Uh, your point about the veteran population being aging, a lot of people who are considered like actual veterans now, there are people who went in and they've been in there for years because now it's just people see it as okay, well, I can go in for maybe 4 years and then while I'm there thinking about something different. But the men and women who are like um, we can say the baby boomer of the veteran population. Those are people who made a career out of military service, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them went in. Initially, they signed like 4 years, but then military says son 18 years. That's not the contract. It's 4 years, but then they just keep renewing. But now it's like they have to keep looking for people, and the recruiters now they have like actual jobs because they have to keep going out and recruiting. People are not just coming in and signing up, so they have to keep traveling and looking for more recruits.
Yeah, definitely, man. Folks, tonight we are honoring all those who serve, all those that are serving. So we are doing a community tribute, Inner Circle community tribute, Inner Circle Podcast community tribute to all our veterans out there. Today is November 11. It's Veterans Day. For those of you around the world, every November 11, celebrate Veterans Day. All those that have served this country and those that continue to serve this country. We honor them, we honor that sacrifice. And today here on the Inner Circle Podcast, that's what we are doing. If you are a veteran, you want to contribute to the conversation tonight, you can put a comment in the chat. If you are serving, you want to tell your experience, you can also do that as well. Put a comment in the chat. I'll call our number 952-594-5154 if you want to contribute to the conversation. So for me, what intrigues me the most, right, and what really inspired me is like, I'm wondering is like what really motivates someone, to risk their life, right, for a nation, right? Especially like for our immigrants population, right? Most of us come here for better life. But I mean, the fact that I'm so intrigued that yes, is that they actually want to, join the military, want to serve this country. And they ready it's something that I mean, it's hard for me to grasp because what, I'm from a war-torn country, right? So I'm afraid of war. But the fact that so many immigrants, even from our own country, even from Liberia, I mean, from Sierra Leone, from all of, as I said, to your point earlier, from all over the world, they are so eager. It's something they want to do. The first thing, oh God, I mean, it's like so many immigrants. It's like so I mean, I'm wondering, okay, what it is that's motivating someone, right, to risk their life for a nation? I know there's a good country, but one is like sometimes like I don't understand it, PDC. I don't know maybe what you whether you understand it either, right? As I said, I value their sacrifices, but I just don't understand it, right? Because it is a voluntary force, especially here in the US.
Yeah. So I think one thing that probably motivates people is that sense of like pride and giving back. So
Mm,
of us, although everybody come here through different means, but I think some people probably have that passion and they feel obligated. Like, okay, how can I give back, even though we are not being asked to like give back or pay that sacrifice. Are saying to say, okay, well, since they allow me to come into the country, this is my way of giving back. But a lot of people, we just have that passion. Like uh, on this past Friday, my daughter's little elementary school, they had their Veterans Day service
mhm,
program,
mhm, mhm,
and throughout, I think Wednesday and Thursday, the day before, she's like, can you come to my school and be a veteran? I said, she's in the six. No, she doesn't understand. I told
yeah,
her, I can come to your program, but I'm not a veteran. She said, oh, can you come and dress like to dress up and be a veteran? I said, I'm not a veteran, so I cannot dress up like that. And she just broke that like and started crying. So I'm like, why are you crying? She said, because I want you to be I want you to be a
yeah,
veteran. So I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, poor thing. She doesn't understand, but it's something that a lot of people have passion for, and even in my case, it's something that I wanted to do. I was eager to get into it, but then to your point, we came from a war-torn country, so but that wasn't my fear. What stopped me was my parents. They said, "Oh, we came from war, and you want to go to war," and so I didn't sign to go through to go to basic training, and it's something that I was ready to do because I did like 2 years of ROTC training in college, and
okay.
I mean it was as real as it can get because we had everything, the full gear, everything. We'll go out and do a few exercises and everything like that. And back then I was still young. I still had a great vision. So uh, I had everything planned out. Like, yeah, I'm going to join and I'm going to go to basic and I will do this. And but then they also plan it out for me because what they do is of course this time period, if you are doing either RTC or if you are doing some type of like training to go into the military, at the same time the leaders, they are looking at you to say, okay, well, we think this person would be good for this or good for that and stuff like that, even if it's not something that you see for yourself. But yeah, a lot of people just have that passion to serve and become part of the military.
Yeah, yeah. Folks, tonight we are honoring all those who serve. Today is November 11th. It's Veterans Day. So here on the Inner Circle podcast, we are paying a tribute to all those that have served this country, all those that are serving. I mean, military service to me is one of the greatest sacrifices to no one can give to a country, you know. And so tonight we are honoring, we are paying a tribute to all those that are serving. We appreciate your service. We thank you for your service. We hope you can for those veterans out there. If you're going through anything, because our veterans, as Peterson said, man, is that we don't. I don't think we appreciate them enough. I mean, they go through tough times when the homeless rate among the population here, most of them are veterans. So tonight we just want to pay our respect here on the Inner Circle podcast to all our veterans out there. But you talk about the immigrant experience. To me, the immigrant veteran experience earlier, right? As an immigrant, you come here, you're so eager to serve, right? But sometimes, like, sometimes I wonder, okay, how do you balance, you come from a country, right? It's like you're immigrant, you come here. How do you balance, your pride to your native country and then also like loyalty to the United States, right? Because at the end of the day, you were not born here, right? You came
Mhm.
here as an immigrant. But it's like, is it like, is that kind of a, I mean, from your vantage point though, right? Do you think that there's some kind of a balancing out there, right? Because to me, I feel like, okay, I mean, some of us come here and fully assimilate. You know what I mean? It's stuff where we embrace America. This is where I live. This is where I'm at now. And to your point earlier, hey, you want to say this country has given me so much. I immigrated here. I come here. I have opportunities. So I think maybe the least I can do is to give back through military service. But sometimes, right, there are some folks who maybe like their heart is here, but also right, their loyalty or whatever is still to their native country. Sometimes like I kind of wondered about the balancing act in such a situation where we're serving in military, and sometimes even that we have fear stories. Sometimes like you know there are folks that are serving, there are veterans that are serving, they are not even fully accepted. You know what I mean? It's like they still kind of either face discrimination or some sort. I mean, some kind of cultural barrier. So there's always that. Okay, where does my loyalty lies? I guess that's what I'm kind of trying to take that from.
Yeah, I think it's sad for those who have those negative experiences, but for uh, the majority of people who go into military service as an immigrant, I think what's probably on their mind is this is the quickest way to like equal the playing field. Kind of
Mm,
like, okay, if I come in, I come in new from Africa, from Liberia, and I have this like terrible accent and things like that. And then I think about it like, okay, well, if I join the military now, even if there's going to be some cultural barrier or something, now I have a faster way of getting over that hurdle or over that barrier because if we are all station one place. We all have the single. If we get deployed, of course, we have to keep each other safe. They're not going to say, "Oh, well, this guy, he's from Africa, so he's not one of us." So with that, people feel more accepted. Is I think it has to do with getting over that culture shock
mhm.
first and trying to assimilate, but a faster way of doing that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so many, and again, right, to all veterans out there, and especially to our immigrant brothers and sisters who are serving the military, who continue to serve, who have served. And I want to say Happy Veterans Day to you. We again appreciate you for your sacrifice. We appreciate the sacrifice you are offering for this country, this great country. It is because of you that we have the freedom we have and things like that. And then the other thing, man, they can call you guys on the fly. Even with the situation we have going on here, right? National Guard deployment. If you're in the National Guard, next minute, you have your job, you have your family, and then before you look, you say, hey, you got to deploy. I mean, I think about during the Iraq War, during the war on terror in Afghanistan, right? So many folks, and even young folks, so many folks were deployed in those situations. Sometimes, the war in Afghanistan took like almost 20 years, right? And then he kept having a rotation. Some folks will go for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. But as you said, right, it's like away from their family,
Yeah.
away from their family. So to me, that's a true sacrifice, right? Someone doing that sometimes, it's like because they're not even allowed to take their, if the person is married with their family and things like that. They don't take their wives, right? Their wife and kids are here, and then
Yeah.
they go and serve it, sometime danger zone with Iraq.
Hmm.
Afghanistan. Man, it's like I can't, and like so many folks got wounded in that situation. So many folks got killed. It is just to me the ultimate sacrifice, right? Folks that are serving in the military and folks that survive it, man, it's like it is the ultimate sacrifice. And I think to your point earlier, we need to, all of us, need to really, really appreciate them every day. I'm glad, like, to see some of the benefits they have, right? They have, it's like if you are veterans, the country is trying the best, right, to honor them, to appreciate them. But I think we can do more because,
Could do
man,
more.
the
Yes.
sacrifices that they really, really do for this country, it is beyond. I don't think there's ever enough. But so
Yeah.
I think we can really, really do more, and we should do more.
Yeah. So, excuse me. To the point you are making about people getting either deployed or activated and going into danger zone and things like that. So, my roommate from college, he's a veteran. Thank you. He was a sergeant last time that that's Sergeant Sexton, but he was the one that got me interested in it. He had already finished basic training right before we both started our freshman year, and
Hmm.
he came down and were roommates. And I used to see him get up and go for like PT and stuff like that for ROTC. But then when he got me to talk to the recruiters and things, they said, "Well, if you are doing ROTC, you are considered a student, you will never get like deployed." And this was like the first maybe 3 4 years of the war in Afghanistan.
Hmm.
And boy, was that a big lie, because they pulled him out of school and sent him to Afghanistan. Not only
Yeah.
one time, but I think he did like 3 tours.
Wow.
Yeah, they pulled him out of school. And so everybody was thinking like, wait, I thought if you are a student, you're not gonna get like deployed. So to the point you are making, like, yeah, you have to be waiting on the fly. Anytime that order comes, you have to obey and go. And to like the National Guardsmen and things like that, it was something that before I learned that uh, if you get activated or deployed to like disaster zones. So if there's like a natural disaster and we have like the National Guard comes down. Um, Before I used to think that, oh, okay, well, once you return to your base or you return home, then now you are considered a veteran. But I didn't know that that is not the case unless it's
No.
done through a federal order. So like those President Trump sending that sent to Washington D.C. or is trying to send to Chicago and things, since those were done by federal order, then if they still under that order for 6 months or 180 days, then they'll be considered veterans. Other than that, if you are reservists or National Guardsmen, you have to serve 20 years before you
Wow.
consider a veteran. So
Wow. That's a huge commitment, right? So that's a
yeah,
huge commitment. And then to your point though, where when a natural disaster hits, or when this country go to war, like, so sometimes the entire National Guard gets activated, and
yep,
they actually they keep going through deployment. Sometimes they can even go into combat zone, right? So it's
yes,
like every branch of the military, to me, the fact that whether it's National Guard, whether it's the Marines, whether it's Special Forces, whether it's the Navy, they are all like, the sacrifices to me, right? There's not much we can say to that sacrifice. because as I mean to Peterson point, 20 years, man, 20 years commitment, 20 years commitment where it
Yep.
like you can get activated anytime,
Anytime.
any
Yep.
day, to serve this country. The other thing, man, as we seek to our immigrant brothers and sisters that are serving in there, right? If someone come here as a new immigrant and they decide to enlist in the military, do you think, I know what my thought process last one day, do you think they should get automatic citizenship? The fact that they are sacrificing for the army is like, okay, the person come new immigrant say, hey, I want to serve this country. Should there be automatic citizenship?
I think so. Is That's a no-brainer. I mean, if you volunteer to go to the military, if you go through basic training and graduate, and you are stationed wherever, it doesn't matter what branch, or if you are active or National Guard or Reserve. I think that should be a fast path to citizenship for anybody that does not have citizenship papers. And those are some of the things that it used to get people on, because I was told that too, because at the time I wasn't a citizen yet. I had been in the country 5 years, but I was not a citizen. So they said, yeah, this is like, once you come from basic training, basically your citizenship papers will be waiting for you. Those That's what I was told. But it's sad to
But
see
what happened?
that.
I mean, what happened? Is that true? I mean, I don't. It's like, is that true or that's not true? Right?
No,
It's
that's
like,
what I'm saying is we have stories of people who have served for years. They come
mhm,
from basic training and they still consider undocumented, or they don't have the citizenship papers.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's one of those, like, how you call it, bait and switch. They tell you all the good things and then come from there and you still don't get it. But I think that's probably in the minority of those who do not come out and have at least some form of documentation. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I think they should just go full blown citizenship. If you are not a citizen and you volunteer to go to the military, you should get your citizenship.
Like, even if some like sometimes like I mean most immigrants come here on like I mean with immigration status already, right?
Right.
I mean as immigrants, so either they have pathway to a green card or they have a green card. So, and then like depending on what status you came on as an immigrant, sometimes like might take you 5 years to gain your citizenship. But to your point, if the person decides to enlist in the military, I think the citizenship should be automatic. You know what I mean? I definitely agree, right? So I'm this a person that decided, hey man, I love this country. I want to sacrifice for this country. I think that's one thing where the least we can do for them, or the country can do for them, is to say, hey, automatic citizenship for you. I know, we live in a heightened immigration environment. Some folks might disagree with that. They say, no, you should do more. But the fact that the person is sacrificing, right? They say, hey, man, I'm willing to serve this country. I'm willing to, be away from my family. I'm willing to lay down my life, for the freedom of this country. I definitely agree with you, Peterson, that the citizenship should be automatic. And it's like our platform is a global platform. Obviously, there are some immigrants listening to us out there, right? It's like to your point earlier, though, right? The U.S. military might be like, like especially like, when you encounter the U.S. military overseas, like, oh God, this is the best force ever there. But sometimes, obviously, we are celebrating Veterans Day today. We're talking about all the good stuff, but there are some, to your point, man, there are some things they don't tell you. you
Yeah.
know, it like they say when what is like you are not in it, so you don't know what's up. But
Yeah.
once you enter there, there's so many folks, and I think that's where like to the point you brought up earlier, where in like I stress that as well that we are not doing enough for them because certain people go into it with
Hmm.
so much high expectation, and then they go in there and say, "Gosh, it's not what I expected, though, right?" And then they come out, there's not even what they expect, So sometimes it becomes so frustrating. So it's not all gravy. I guess that's the point I'm trying to drive at.
Yeah, so I think that's part of the reason why we have for low recruitment now.
Mhm.
Although the president would say otherwise, he said recruitment is up. But uh, this is why a lot of the veterans are much older, because now with the age we live in with technology and social media and so forth, the younger people now they're seeing like how some of the veterans are being treated once they leave service. So it gets people thinking like, I don't want to end up like that. I don't want, because I mean, there are so many reasons why somebody would become like homeless. For example, if you see a veteran, or majority of the people that we see that say, "Oh, I'm a veteran," so we don't have the data to stop and ask them like, okay, well, why did you become homeless? You served, you sacrificed for this country. What happened? But that's all we see on the surface. So if I'm somebody that has the mindset of, okay, well, I want to serve, but then all around me, I'm seeing people who have already served, they've been treated not good, they're not taken care of. It's going to get me to start rethinking, like, do I really want to do this? So a lot of the people who even had that passion growing up, now when they become of age, they will start to redirect and take other routes.
Yeah, I mean, you just brought a great point, right? Is that because sometimes these folks, I mean, when you're deploying a merit or even from your training, it's not an easy thing from your training, and then if you are deployed, you're away from your family. So the fact that the go through mental is tough to me to be. I mean, to be in the military is tough, and then especially for those that go into combat, right? So now it's like after the uniform, it's the reintegration, and the mental health. I don't think the reintegration part, it is frustrating. I can tell you that, right? Is like especially for those that actually experience combat, because some of them, I don't think there's enough. I mean, the person like someone that experienced the Iraq War, right? Someone that went into combat in the Iraq, and look at his maybe his fellow, someone he's serving with, get murdered in front of him. How do you expect that person to ever, right? It's like no
Mhm.
one can comprehend that. No one can
Yeah,
ever. I don't think such a person can ever recover from that. Now, I think, right, for such a person to be reintegrated into society, there has to be better services, and I think that's the missing link, right? Because it's like the person is struggling with that mental health, right? Maybe he's always like this dude was his best friend. They did everything together. They deployed together, and then look at such a person get murdered right in his face. I
yeah,
mean, it's tough. It's tough. So I think the reintegration part is something that it's not done enough, or it's not even done at all. I mean, because I say there's so many veterans that are homeless, so many, and some of them have families, right? It's like because when they come back home to their family, it's like their family not understanding them. They are
hmm
not getting the services they need. It's like there's so many bureaucracy. Like when you talk about the veterans affair, because I mean it's so huge, right? It's like to even get basic services for them is hard.
yeah, yeah. So a lot of those people that you're talking about that have that either suffering from like PTSD or
Mhm.
some type of, because if you go into combat, there are things that they experience that you can never unsee, or there's nothing you can do to like take it away from your mind. So the best thing once they come back is to continue to uh like cater to them and provide resources. But like you said, although the veterans affairs is like a huge department, a lot of these people when they come home, uh, for them to actually even begin like that reintegration process, it takes time because the line is so long and they're not being prioritized. Where if I'm a leader of some group and all my people come home, whether they all made it home or not, I'm supposed to go after them, those who are available, to say, okay, well, how can I help you? How can I help you? Or here is help, and for them to take advantage of it. But a lot of them have to like tackle going to get help and trying to get back into society and back to their families. And sometimes it's like because of the mental toll that it takes on them to go into combat, they're like strangers to their family. They don't know how to cope. So it's just right that the government do more for these people.
Yeah. Well, folks, tonight we are honoring those who served. Today is Veterans Day, November 11th. Every year, November 11th, we celebrate Veterans Day in this country. And so here on the Inner Circle podcast tonight, we are paying a tribute to all those that are serving, all those that continue to serve, all those that have served. We appreciate your service. We thank you for your service. We thank you for your sacrifice. Man, there's not much, there's nothing, there's not, like, we cannot thank you enough for what you are doing for this great country, for your sacrifices. day in and day out. And for you guys that have, done so much, to for us to be enjoying the freedom we have in this country, we just want to appreciate it. So yeah, our veteran out there, you want to contribute to the conversation tonight, you can put a comment in the chat. You can also call our number 952-594-5154. But to your point, Elder Reputation, I read somewhere it's like there's not even like you hear it all the time. I mean, even in our communities where we are talking about mental health so many times on this platform, ordinarily we all go through. I like to joke that in America we all have mental problems, right? Because we're all going through so many things every day, right? And then now someone who have gone into a combat zone or someone serving the military have gone through some training, have gone through everything, deployed away from family. Is it like, but there's still that stigma though around PTSD. I mean, as a society, we still have a stigma around PTSD, especially like, once like now, like you consider someone that's serving in the military, right? You expect them to be tough, right? It's oh man, tough it up. And then to your point, right? So not even like their family is not speaking, even they're even not speaking their language anymore, meaning they don't understand what it is that they are going through, their live experience, right? So sometimes you have so many people suffering in silence.
Yeah.
They're suffering in silence, well, because it's like if I come, I mean, you expect me, I'm a military man, then I come and cry on your shoulder. What are you gonna tell me? Right? Especially now we live in a society that, there's not much sympathy, there's not much empathy. So you
Yeah.
have so many veterans that are suffering in silence. And then at the end of the day, some of them resort to drugs, some of them
Mm.
resort to, just to bad behaviors, where they just get the feel is like I mean, they just get addicted to things that you don't expect them, right? Because no society doesn't understand them. The stigma around mental health, the stigma around PTSD, and that's so sad.
Yeah, so a lot of them, before they even get to being on substances or abusing different substances, they feel forgotten. So, like you said, if they come home and even back in the day, if you're not even a military person, if you are a male, like, oh, boys don't cry. You have to be like tough. And then if you're in the military, it's supposed to be like the the top of the crowd when it comes to macho men being tough. So, and it's something that it has to do with their training as well, because when they go through the training where they try to toughen you up, you can't cry, you can't do this, you can't do that. Now when they come home, there's nowhere for them to be vulnerable where they can say, oh, okay, well, this is how I feel. I'm feeling somehow, and they cannot talk to people, because it's just now that we have even the industry, as far as like psychologists and psychiatrists, that is getting even more now, or we have more people going into that field. But before, it's like, okay, if you are a military person, you have to like basically suck it up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah, definitely. Go ahead, and finish
Yeah,
yourself.
you have to toughen up. If you're a military man, you can be soft and go like talking to somebody like, oh yeah, this is how I feel. So that's why a lot of them, like you said, they suffer in silence, because there's no safe space for them to basically uh, become vulnerable and break down and say, okay, well, yeah, this is what I experienced, and because of that, I'm having like these type of symptoms.
Yeah. And I think that's why as a community, right? That's what we come in. What as a community, right? Immigrant or whatever, wherever you're from, whoever you are, we as a community, I think we need to do a better job, to provide support, right? It don't have to be sometimes, but it don't have to be through the system because I said there's so many of them suffering. So as a community, I think we need to do a better job, even ourselves, right? Just how can, if there's a veteran that right? Maybe they check it. Hey man, it's like how are you doing? Right? I think we need to do a better job as a community to even support them, right? Because I don't think even right, forget about the government as a society. Are we doing enough to support them? Are we doing enough to empathize with them? Are we doing enough to say, man, is someone who's like, that maybe son earlier, right? 18 years, maybe if we go look 20, 25, 30 years, they come. As a society, we should be able to. It's not only up to government, so I mean, collectively as a society, if a veteran is your neighbor, I would say check on him or her, right? It's like just to say, hey man, how you doing? How you feeling, right? And things like that, because we need to do a better job to support these folks that are sacrificing so much or that have sacrificed so much for this country, because there's it's a sacrifice you cannot put into words. It's be I mean, I think it's one of the greatest sacrifice ever, because as I said, Elder Peterson, right? To me, I can't comprehend why would someone want to give up their life for I mean, for their country, right? I can't comprehend that, but so many millions of folks have done it. Millions of folks continue to do it. So I think as a society, we need to do a better job to support our veterans.
Yeah, so I'm glad you said that, because we don't have to wait for the government to do everything. So, as an individual within your community, wherever you live, that I'm sure there's somebody that is a veteran within that community that is going unnoticed, because they feel like, well, nobody like cares about me, or nobody cares to ask. And that's one thing. Like, when we interact with people every day, when you say, how are you? Are you actually taking the time to wait for the answer that person is going to give? Because in this country, everything is moving so fast. We say, how are you? I'm fine. And then you keep going. Oh, I'm okay. But that's just on the surface, because you are not actually asking, like, how are you? How are you? How you doing? And stuff
Mhm.
like that, for people to actually sit and talk to you, because a lot of them, they just feel unnoticed. They feel like, okay, well, uh, there's nobody around me. And when they get old enough, then they go into like a nursing home or something like that. And a lot of them, they will keep reliving those nightmares or experiences that they had from the time they were young until they get old, because we are not taking care of them.
Yeah. Well, folks, tonight we are discussing, we are honoring all those who serve, those who continue to serve, those who are serving. Today is November 11th, it's Veterans Day. And so here on the Inner Circle podcast, we are doing a community tribute, to all those that have served, all those that are continuing to serve, to the millions of men and women out there in the military that are serving. We appreciate you. We honor you for your sacrifice. We want to thank you. Thank you so much for sacrificing of for sacrificing for our freedom, for the freedom of this country. So thank you for serving, and thank you for continuing to serve. The other thing, right, for those, when anyone who's thinking about the military, to me, one of the things about the military, right, I think, like even when you look at great leaders in this country, right, some of them have military background, like the CEO of my company is a veteran. He served in the military. And like he was, even when he sent a message out today, right, that one of the things he said, the military taught him discipline, kind of taught him leadership. So I think that one of the things, right, is like you have so many, veterans that are entrepreneurs, that are leaders, that are change makers. You have them serving as senators, they have served as presidents. So one of the things I think the military is one of the places, if you want to build leadership skills, I think it's one of the places to actually gain it, right? Because it's discipline. I mean, we are talking about some of the mental challenges, PTS and other stuff, but I think one of the great thing, if you have aspirations as a young person to be a leader, I think the military is where you can really, really get that. You know, I mean, I don't know what's your thought, but I think so.
No, you're right. So, uh, is there the military is there to instill like trust and build that leadership skill. So, uh, the idea is to take an average man or average woman, average person, and get them to be the best that they can be. So that
Hmm.
needs to be like one of the mottos. I forgot for which one. Be the
Yeah.
best you can be. So they try to mold people and instill in them leadership skills, leadership values, and discipline. So uh, when your CEO and others, they most of them who have military background, they will say, "Yeah, this is where I learned the discipline. This is where I learned the leadership skills that I have." So it's a way to actually get, if you have that potential to become a leader, to become an entrepreneur or executive or something. So it would be a place to actually groom your skills. It's not just in school, like lecture hall or auditorium and things like that. So, but it's a different type of discipline. It's like the ultimate discipline and the ultimate leadership skill.
Yeah, definitely though. And I think that's one of the things I would like to see, right? Especially like young immigrants, men and women that that I go into the military. I think to me, if there's anything, what are all of the benefits that come of it? I think if there's one benefit someone can get out of it is that leadership is that it is your ability to become a leader, right? Is like as you said, because you said it instill discipline in you, trust, right? When you basically they are teaching you to be a leader. So I think, folks, especially, for immigrant young men and women that are going into it, I think the takeaway for them to me, right? My encouragement will be for them, right? Go there and right, learn those leadership skills. And then when you come back from there, right, apply it in the real world and try because man, you can go as far as you want to go if you ready to take everything that you learn in the military. I haven't been there, but man, it's like some of the disciplines that you go through, the things the training, you know, you have to be neat or whatever. All of these things that you learn, if you can take that and apply, when you become, when you leave the military, trying to reintegrate into the real world, I think that's one of the benefits you can actually get from it. But I don't think we see many of our, immigrant veterans, applying that. I don't, you don't really see that. I don't know
Yeah,
about you, but you don't really see that, right? But I mean, these folks that are
you're right.
really
You
taking
don't.
over the military, it's like when you come back with me, that's because it's easy. I'm not
Yeah,
saying it's easy, right? It's like it should be easy, I guess.
it should be easy, or at least it should give you a boost. So
Yeah.
this is why we used to see a lot of like police officers. They would be like former military because they have that discipline, they have that leadership skills. So if you see uh, a lieutenant who's a police officer or police chief or captain or so forth, they say, "Oh, this person have a military background." Most often they have a military background, but to your point, if you go through this building of leadership values and skills and discipline, now it should be like a springboard that once you come into society to reintegrate, that you will be able to use those skills and those organizational skills and things that you learn in the military so that it can boost you into whatever career, whatever area you want to be. Because uh, it's something too that a lot of people used to have pride in. It's like, okay, if I'm a veteran, I walk into any job site, as long as I have the skills for that particular position, I will be like top of the line as far as getting hired. And because companies would be, they will look for those leadership skills, they will look for those like discipline in people and things like that. But that's not the case anymore. So if somebody comes from the military, most times you don't know if they are going or they are coming from there because they still have the same values before they went in.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. I do agree with that. Well, folks, tonight we are honoring all those who are served. Today is November 11th. It's Veterans Day, so we are paying a tribute here on the Inner Circle podcast to all of our veterans, all those that are serving, all those that are served. We just want to thank them for their sacrifice. We want to thank them for their service and things like that. Man, this is the Inner Circle podcast. Yeah, we are here to amplify, empower, and elevate our veterans tonight. If you are thinking about joining the military, I think it's a great cause. And it's serving this great country. So man, so we encourage you to do that. And I also put a comment in the chat tonight if you are a veteran or you are a mother or father of a veteran. Just to appreciate our young men and women that are serving in uniform, that are in uniform and things like that. So yes, man, is that one of the things, right? I think about, especially we live in the social media world where in like every young person want to become an influencer. That be how can we? How do you think that with this? I mean, the whole idea of sacrifice, right? The whole idea of sacrifice. I think as a society we are losing that, right? I mean, we live in an age where the internet has taken over the world. Social media is, young people, I think we are losing our sense of young people are losing that sense of sacrifice. What does it mean to sacrifice? For country, for one another, for your fellow men, for your brothers and sisters. I just think though that's my observation could be wrong. It might be wrong, but we live in a world, man. It's like every young person want to become an influencer, right? They want to the next Kim Kardashian, the next X, Y, and Z, and things like that, right? And just forgetting what What does it mean to sacrifice and choose sacrifice?
Yeah, so I don't think you are wrong, because a lot of people they don't have the. We always talk about reference points. We don't have those people, because our veterans, once again, they are unseen, and
Hmm.
that when we see some of them, it will be around like the street corners. So they are not people that we are engaged with, so that it can be able to encourage the young people to say, "Oh, okay, this is what it means to sacrifice." Because now we live in like a selfish world. Like it's all me, 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 me. Everything I have to do, I want to become an influencer so that I can influence people to. It's all about me. That's all it is. Because now people are not gravitating towards like service of others, to serve others, and to say, okay, well, how can I give back to my community? How can I sacrifice my time from my family, so that for the betterment of others and things like that. So now we don't know that, because a lot of people, like you said, they want to become influencers. We don't have people that were actually uh, that we can learn from, to say, okay, well, this is what it means to sacrifice.
Yeah, right. And other things too, like right now, like I mean, you think about you can actually see it right now. I think politicians, whether intentionally or intentionally, right? They amplify our division. They are amplifying our division so much in this country that they are not. Sometimes sometimes I tell myself, I say, when I travel around the country, where the things that I read on the internet or the things that I see on TV does not reflect the heartland of America. Does not reflect America going travel. Folks are so nice, but you have politicians all day bickering, talking past one another and things like that. We are not doing enough to like talk about sacrifice, whether joining the military or sacrificing for your country. It's like, how can we get back to the whole idea of sacrifice, the whole idea of teaching the next generation about sacrifice? Because I think there's a real danger and we keep going down the path where oh yeah, the country is so divided, and things like that. I mean, sometimes you wonder to yourself, well, what does it even mean to be American anymore? Right? What does yeah, is that because sometimes when folks talking about, oh yeah, Democrat, Republican, or independent, or this X, Y, and Z, they want to box. For me personally, right, I don't like to be boxed into a corner, into a specific category, because that's not who I am. I think what I mean, that's not who I am. But when you listen to politicians, man, that's what our division is so much amplified. That whole idea about service, the whole idea about sacrificing for this country, telling young folks that this country is so great that you should give back, what this country is giving you. All of these things seems to be lost in translation, man. You don't hear that anymore.
Yeah, so that's exactly what's happening. And we always talk about like the noisy minority, because even though we have a lot of powerful people that are in politics, but they are still the minority as far as the number of people that have they usually say the bully pulpit to make these proclamations, but is something that is just lost within the country. And I mean, we haven't gotten to the point of no return. We can still redirect and correct the course as far as talking about service and sacrifice and things, because like you said, these are things that we don't hear. Because how will we hear it if they are talking about, oh, okay, we can't open the government, yeah, we can't open it, no, the government shut down, no, you this, you that. And they try to pull people into different categories, as you said, where they're, they're pitting us against each other. So it's like the division, like you said, uh, people usually say, oh, there are more that bind us than divide us, because it's just out there. Like they would take the negative issues and they blow it out of proportion, so that it seems like, yeah, this whole country is just so messed up, and that's far from the truth. So, but those silent majority, we now have to become more noisier than the noisy minority, so that some of these values can come back, and we have to amplify and talk about how good the country is, not only in terms of, yeah, if you serve, you're going to get this or that, and those are not the promises that people were made for them to join the military. This is why it's still a volunteer force up to today, because if it was something that they were promising something, if you join, you get this, you get that, then everybody would choose the military route. But our politicians, they all day they you don't ever hear anything about veterans, about service, or anything like that, except on like this day. This is why I say from the beginning, we need to do more than just one day out of the year to honor the men and women who serve.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, folks, tonight we have been discussing honoring those who serve, honoring all those who serve, honoring those who have continued to serve. And then for the last 1 hour, we have been paying tribute to our military men and women, those that are in uniform, those that have served. So thank you for your service. We appreciate your sacrifice to this great country. Thank you for serving this great country, these United States, beautiful country. Man, I mean, you just raised a great point, man, Peterson. This is a 1 hour show we've been having, obviously, been a special tribute to our men and women in uniform. But you just raised a great point about, it shouldn't only be on Veterans Day. I mean, even here on the Inner Cycle Podcast, once in a while, we should give shout out to all those veterans out there. Obviously, we did a segment on homelessness, and I think the focus there was, most of those you see homeless are veterans, and those are some of the things we try to do here, right? Just to bring awareness. You have a lot of immigrants serving, and then our people. The thing about our immigrant community, where sometimes most of us like to do that tough thing, because of our background, where we're from. So there might be some even homeless immigrant veterans out there, but who know? I mean, we don't even know them, right? It's like our community don't know them because we don't have information, resources. Information doesn't really flow back to our community, and that's one of the beauty about Inner Cycle Podcast. That's what we're trying to do here. But as you said, right, it shouldn't just be a one day thing. We as a community, we should look beyond that. We should look beyond Veterans Day. Honor honor those that have served, thank those that continue to serve. It should be an everyday thing. If you have your neighbor who's a veteran, it should be an everyday thing. So I'm glad that you brought that up. We should look beyond Veterans Day. But how else can we look beyond that, right? It's like what are some of the things, practical things do we think we need to do to look beyond Veterans Day? It shouldn't only be this day. You see the president go to Arlington Cemetery and stuff like that. This should be an everyday thing to honor our men and women in uniform because
Yeah, it should be, because a lot of our veterans, those especially that have seen combat or they've been in, they have those bad experiences. They are in our neighborhoods. It's not only one day out of the year that your local restaurant would say, "Oh, okay, we're gonna give out free pancakes today for veterans." No, I mean they got to eat tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. And even if they don't come out to say, like we said, a lot of them are suffering in silence because they don't know, first off, how to go about to say what is going on with them, what is bothering
Mhm.
them. So we should, within our communities, the local government, we should have a safe space for veterans, that they will be encouraged to come out and interact with other people and other citizens, and not just one day. It's not like a AAU meeting or anything like that, but something to actually get to know the person, so that they can let their guard down, to be able to tell you some of the things that are going on with them. Because sometimes, I'm not a mental health practitioner, but I think if something is going on with you, you talk about it. Sometimes you get a little bit of relief from that. It's not just the drugs or the pharmaceuticals are not the only way to get a relief from your mental issues.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. I do agree with you. Well, folks, as I said, man, this is a 1 hour show. Again, to all our veterans out there, happy Veterans Day. Hopefully, you enjoy your day. Hopefully, we pray for you. We thank you for your sacrifice. Man, what Peterson, man, as I said, this is a 1 hour show. As we try to wrap this up, what is your party message to all veterans out there tonight, to the parents of veterans, like Mary, to all those that have served, all those that continue to serve, all those deployed overseas away from their family? Man, your party message tonight.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation. And today, of all days, we want to say thank you to all of our veterans, those who are serving, who are away from their families, from loved ones, and they are sacrificing their time that they should be spending with their families. They're spending it to defend us. We want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And everybody that I know who is a veteran, I want to say thank you for your service. And we need to do more as a society to honor these men and women, not only when they leave military service, but even those that are like National Guard or reservists that live in our community. We need to do more for them. Not only on Veterans Day, should we make it an issue to honor them. It should be an everyday thing. If you know a veteran within your community, make it a priority to interact with them, say thank you, and you can go out for coffee. We're not saying take somebody off the street and put them in your house, but if you get to know somebody, sometimes all they need is somebody that cares and
Yeah,
understands them. Because for now, we're not doing well as a society for them. We need to do more. So thank you.
yeah, yeah, man. That's a great point. Again, I want to echo what Peterson said. Thank you to all those that are serving, those that continue to serve. You know, whether it's 1 year, whether it's 2 years, whether it's 10 years, whether it's 18 years, like Mary's son, whether it's 20 years, whether it's 30 years, we want to thank you for your sacrifice. Those that have served, the veterans out there, the 16 plus million veterans out there, we again want to definitely thank you for your sacrifice. And I do agree with Peterson, right? We need to do more because when you hear about homelessness, it affects the veterans more, it affects the veterans population more. We need to do more to support them in society. And it shouldn't be only a government responsibility, right? It's a societal responsibility. If you see someone maybe who's homeless, if you're a veteran, man, it doesn't take much. You know, it's like to me, giving a dollar out there. Sometimes maybe stop. Can you offer them coffee or a meal? Some of them are hungry or whatever. We need to do more as a society. If you have your neighbor who's a veteran, check on him or her. You know, I think it's very, very important, man. To me, it's a great sacrifice. I respect those that have done it. I respect those that are doing it, and we just want to honor all the men and women that have served this country and that continue to serve. So tonight on the Inner Circle podcast, this is our special tribute. And my man Peterson, man, as always, every Tuesday you join me for us to have a great, great conversation. I really, really appreciate you for that. Happy Ventures Day to everyone out there. And today was a federal holiday, by the way. So if you were wondering why the bank wasn't open, that was the reason, right? So sometimes people forget this, right? Because it's a
Yeah.
working holiday. Most folks in the private sector have to work. Schools are open, so
Yep.
you forget. That's one of the things. Maybe obviously we're wrapping this over, but I think should it be a national holiday, right?
I Yeah, that's another conversation. But yeah, if Memorial Day is a national holiday, we should make Veterans Day.
National holiday.
What's one more holiday? I mean,
Yeah.
we can afford it. These companies can afford to give one more holiday.
Exactly, exactly. Well, folks, that's the end of our conversation tonight. We'll see you back here on the Inner Cycle podcast for our business segment tomorrow with Miss Beat and I discussing business and finance. So thank you so much, folks, and you all have a good night.